Sacrifices of our military veterans on Veterans Day, Monday, the 11th of November 2013. Whereas Veterans Day is an official federal holiday that recognizes the sacrifices of our military veterans, and whereas the traditions of Veterans Day originally began in November of 1919 when President Woodrow Wilson issued an armistice proclamation recognizing and honoring the service members who sacrificed and served in the First World War. And whereas the United States Congress passed a bill in 1938 whereby each November the 11th would be dedicated to the cause of world peace and hereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day, and whereas on the 24th of May 1954 Congress changed the formal name Armistice Day to Veterans Day so that recognition would focus on military veterans, both past and present, who have stood guard and fought to preserve our freedoms. And whereas many local members of our community have given up themselves in service to the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and National Guard, and whereas local citizens value the efforts and owe a debt of gratitude to our American Legion Post 72 and the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 1431, it is now therefore proclaimed by the City of Crawfordsville, Indiana, that all citizens of the City of Crawfordsville are encouraged to recognize and honor the sacrifices of our military veterans. And may we realize the freedoms we enjoy and treasure in the United States of America are only possible through the heroic efforts of these brave men and women. Be it further proclaimed that I hereby declare that in the City of Crawfordsville, Monday, the 11th of November 2013, is proudly observed and celebrated as Veterans Day. I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the City of Crawfordsville this 11th day of November 2013. Thank you.
Mr. Smith, Mr. Strong, Commander Pickerel, thank you for allowing me to speak with you or speak here today. I want to thank the mayor and all the distinguished guests and everyone who came out to show their support for our veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, service members who have served and are serving our great nation, good morning. It is a distinct honor for me to be here with you today to commemorate the time during which we pause to honor and remember our American veterans. As a career military person, Veterans Day holds a special place in my heart. America is a great nation with a heritage of freedom, and today we celebrate one of the reasons why we have maintained the heritage all these years. That reason is our American veterans. I know that many of you here today have served in the military, have family members who are veterans, all of whom have done their part in preserving the freedom that we enjoy today. Veterans are the true backbone of this country, and we owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to all those who serve and continue to serve to protect our freedom. World War I is one of the bloodiest, or was one of the bloodiest wars the world had ever seen. It is also known as the Great War and the war to end all wars. It shook the nations of the world for 4 years, claiming nearly 20 million lives. The armistice was signed on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. It was to commemorate the end of World War I and to continually remind every American of the horrible tragedies of war. Since then, nations commemorate the momentous event with a moment of silence. That silence punctuates the air and focuses everyone's attention to the services of our veterans across the country and in locations around the world. Although the name of the holiday has changed over the years, one thing always remains constant. It is a day to recall the sacrifices in war and the contributions in peace by the men and women who've served our military. These veterans have encompassed many different kinds of people who've served our country in many diverse ways. They represent the best that America has to offer. Veterans Day is observed around the world. It once was a celebration of silencing of the cannons of World War I. Now it marks a day when nations around the world pause in a moment of silence with solemn pride in the remembrance of the heroism of those who have served and those who are currently serving and those who died in our country's service. We don't mark this day each year as a celebration of victory, but rather as a celebration of those who made victory possible. It's a day during which we keep in our minds the brave men and women of this young nation, generations of them, who above all else believe in and fought for a set of ideas. We keep the story of their heroism and sacrifice alive through our remembrance. Yesterday in the Terre Haute newspaper, the Tribune-Star, there was an article on a young Marine who demonstrated the idea of service above self. Sergeant Josh Moore, while serving in Helmand Province, Afghanistan, on March 14, 2011, he demonstrated audacity and selfless devotion to duty in the face of a determined enemy when his element came under attack. Then, as a lance corporal, Moore, with complete disregard for himself and his own life, picked up a live enemy grenade, threw it out of the building that his unit was in, discarded another grenade, saving the lives of his fellow Marines. He then rendered aid to the wounded Marines, provided security, and set up an evacuation site for those Marines. His actions earned him the Navy Cross. When asked, he said that it was about doing our job. Our actions were important. My actions were important, but so were everyone else's actions. I'm sure this is the same dedication and commitment that is felt by most veterans. As we commemorate Veterans Day, we acknowledge the hardships and the sacrifices demanded from millions of men and women who've defended our land in war and peace. It also is a reminder that we have an obligation to guard the precious legacy of our founding fathers, a legacy of freedom, justice, and liberty. To today's veterans, to the fallen, to their families, there is no tribute, no commemoration, no praise that can truly match the magnitude of your service and your sacrifice. Let us together honor the brave men and women who are serving in locations around the globe. Let us remember the thousands of service members who, because they paid the ultimate sacrifice, cannot be with us today. To our active military service members, National Guards members, reservists, veterans, and family members, to all of you, I say thank you. May God bless you. May God continue to bless the United States of America.